These movies are scary, but they also have something that keeps me coming back again and again to watch them. Let's find out what that is. Welcome to By Candlelight, beaming goth, dark wave and post-punk straight into your brain.
Via YouTube.
So I'm looking at 10 of my most watched supernatural movies and why they keep bringing me back again and again. So all these are entity, spirit based, so no slashers, no monster movies, and nothing that's more true to life. So just looking through these movies, I did spot that they had a few things in common. There's little to no CGI, they're not made purely for the jump scare, and you don't see the entity or spirit until really late in the film, if at all. These are all films that build atmosphere and tension over any crowd-pleasing jump scares. Oh, and just to mention, there will be no spoilers. And just an added bonus, there will be a spirit that appears at some point in this video. So let me know if you spot it. So in no particular order, we start with The Woman in Black. Yes, I know it's got Harry Potter in it, and yes, I know they've changed the ending, but this film has a ton of atmosphere. So this tells the story of Arthur Kipps, a lawyer who is sent to attend to the affairs of Alice Drablow, the deceased owner of Eel Marsh House. Kipps not only has to work alone in the mansion, but begins to uncover the secrets of the town, particularly the children who have been disappearing under mysterious circumstances. So this film is compelling from the outset because of its era. It's set in the late 1800s. It has a ton of atmosphere and just fantastic storytelling. And on that storytelling, it's written by Susan Hill, who is a master and very much writes in the same sort of style as M.R. James. There's sparse use of CGI in this film, and instead it chooses to rely on tension building to carry it through. But most of all, it uses one of the most effective elements in horror: children. Whether they're the malevolent entity or the victims, we associate children as being the innocents who shouldn't be touched by evil and should not have to suffer any of the evil. The Woman in Black is a solid entry to this list, being drenched in good old-fashioned gothic horror and suspense. Next up, we have The Changeling. Not that one. There we are. The Changeling is the oldest film on this list, being made in 1980. So The Changeling centres around John Russell, a composer grieving the tragic death of his wife and daughter. He retires to an old mansion to recover. However, strange happenings in the house lead him to discover a ghastly truth. So this is a classic tension builder, and not a single bit of CGI in sight. There's some great set pieces in this, such as the brilliant seance scene. I would say that the cinematography is almost Stanley Kubrick-esque. You've got these gorgeous wide shots as the cameras pan and slide through this gorgeous mansion. And The Changeling is an influential film, having inspired some elements of the 2001 film The Others. I recently bought this. It was a remastered version on Blu-ray. Not only is the picture totally remastered, but the sound design blew me away. Absolutely phenomenal what they've done to this film. Starting to get a bit creeped out now. You will tell me if there's something behind me, right? Next, we have It Follows. So after a sexual encounter, 19-year-old Jay is convinced that someone, or something, is following her. She must find a way of escaping the horror that feels like it's just lurking right behind her. So for starters, this taps into that primal fear that everyone has of simply being followed. It also brings in a layer around sexual promiscuity, which is a really clever social commentary device, and something that I haven't seen any other film do as well as this. It's modern, and a lot of the horror occurs in broad daylight. This film is relentless, but it's truly brilliant. Next, we have 2007's Paranormal Activity. So Katie and Mika become aware of an unseen presence in their house. They decide to use a video camera to capture these strange happenings, but they discover something more vile and malevolent than they could ever have imagined. So this film uses the found footage convention, which may feel a little bit tired today, but in 2007, it was really at the peak of its powers. This is a masterclass of holding a still shot and building tension. As viewers, we're conditioned to accept that any shot or scene is there for a reason, so we're just staring at it, waiting for something to happen. This film will put you off bedrooms, beds, and sleeping. The next film is 1999's classic, The Sixth Sense. So when child psychologist Malcolm Crowe meets 8-year-old Cole, he is shocked by the visions that haunt the boy. Only at the end will Malcolm discover the root of Cole's troubles, along with a realisation that leaves him absolutely stunned. So this is M. Night Shyamalan's debut film, and it still stands to this day as his very best. So this film is constructed in a way that will most definitely instigate at least one other viewing. So again, we have that use of a child character, which brings both sympathy and horror in equal amounts. There are some jaw-dropping set pieces in this film, including one which features a bedridden young girl. This really is horror on a different level. So next we have 2008's Lake Mungo. In the days following the tragic drowning of 16-year-old Alice Palmer, her family begin to experience strange events. Slowly, they discover that their daughter had been hiding some dark secrets, the truth of which awaits them at Lake Mungo. This film is presented in the style of a documentary or mockumentary, with elements of found footage. Its realism makes this feel like a true-to-life documentation of paranormal activity. There's something truly terrifying about conventional cameras capturing paranormal activity. We're more likely to believe what we see whilst using this medium because it's so far removed from conventional filmmaking techniques. Next up, we have 2001's The Others. Grace and her 2 children live a secluded life in an isolated mansion. When her daughter reports some strange happenings, Grace doesn't believe her, but when 3 mysterious servants arrive, the family begin to suspect malevolent forces. So The Others benefits from its period Gothic setting in a similar vein to The Woman in Black, albeit being set some 50 years later. For a long period of the film, it's the children that are at the centre of the horror. There's the strict religious upbringing, then there's the fact that both children suffer from a photosensitive condition, meaning that they have to spend their days in the dark. Even though they experience most of the supernatural horror, they are left helpless simply because they are not believed by their mother. Just like The Sixth Sense, this will demand at least one more viewing. But it's also the set pieces, and I think the centerpiece is the scene where it looks like there is an apparent possession of Grace's daughter. Overall, this is a gorgeous looking atmospheric film. Next up, we have the 2022 film Talk to Me. So Talk to Me is about a group of friends who discover that an embalmed hand can conjure up spirits. Using it as a party game, one of them goes too far, unleashing terrifying supernatural forces. So this updates the age-old seance scenario and places it in a modern setting that is akin to drug taking, where peer pressure to experience the very latest thrill and be accepted by the pack takes centre stage. You're also just hit by the blatant disrespect this group of people have for the spirit world, and all for just a thrill or a ride. Take it from me, it's in the final scene and how that scene makes you feel as a viewer that will make you want to watch this film again. So already we're at the penultimate film, which is Hereditary. So released in 2018, the film is about a family coming to terms with the passing of a matriarch. Annie, her husband and 2 children begin to discover terrifying secrets about their ancestry, and slowly we watch the family begin to unravel. So this is bold filmmaking from the start, and you're engaged both emotionally and intellectually. The key theme, if you remove all the supernatural elements, is actually mental health, and it's this that roots it firmly in the real world. This film is multi-layered and contains a plot reveal that, just like other films on this list, will have you wanting to watch it again and again. Some of the set pieces are just truly terrifying, but they're not just put in there just to scare you. They're interwoven into the plot and the characters. Look out for a really creepy vocal tick displayed by one of the family. So, my last choice is actually my favourite of all of these films, and that is Host, released in 2020. Host is about 6 friends who hire a medium to perform a seance over a Zoom call. Issues with the medium's internet connection mean that the 6 friends are left on their own, and slowly terrifying events begin to unfold. So on a macro level, this film was made during the height of the pandemic, meaning that the world's population were already in a state of flux, isolation and lockdown. So many of us took to Zoom calls for work or to socialise with family members. And these social events often involve playing games or taking part in quizzes. The Zoom seance is just totally believable because that's a prime example of the kind of games that people just used to play. This film holds up a mirror to what everyone was experiencing in 2020 and then just takes it to another level. This isn't found footage, this is live footage, and it uses the technology brilliantly. A spanner in the works for most modern horror filmmakers is the mobile phone, because you could just pick it up and call for help. You can warn your friend that they're about to be attacked. A million ways of using a mobile to solve a plot problem. Often, filmmakers need to introduce flat batteries or a lack of reception in order to remove the mobile phone from the equation. But not here, because everyone was in lockdown. No one could come to anyone's aid. So this film uses events in the real world as they were happening to construct a plot that is terrifying on multiple levels. Even the film's running time of approximately 50 minutes reflects the maximum amount of time allowed on a free Zoom call for a group of people back in 2020. Truly my favourite ever supernatural film. So that's my list of supernatural films that keep me coming back again and again. So, did you spot the spirit somewhere in the video? Let me know in the comments if you did. Also, let me know your favourite supernatural films that you can watch again and again. Until next time, see you later.